All right, hello Astrobo subscribers. We are back. I apologize for the delay. I was a little bit sick, but I am back now with a continuation of the series that we've been doing, which is discussing some of the lesser known topics of astrology, Western and Vedic, sort of combination that works for me. Which is this particular series we've been talking about the north and south nodes of the moon and their correspondences with personality, because basically astrology is at a minimum the correspondence between things that are above, meaning planetary rhythms, and things that are below, meaning sociology, people's lives, the material world, etc. So there is a principle of sort of a causal relationship, or let's just say like there are relations between the things that are happening on high and the things that are happening down here. That's the axiom. So that's what we study, and unfortunately, for whatever reason, astrology gets oversimplified, and people, as a result, don't know how much they don't know about it. They assume that a sun sign horoscope, which is about the same effectiveness as a fortune cookie, maybe a little more, but not much more, is their horoscope, and it's not, because in order to truly read a horoscope, you have to take a very multi-dimensional approach. You have to be able to look deep, deep, deep into the sky, and there's a method for that, and there's a method for prediction that works and has been proven to work. So this is one of these concepts that I'm trying to spread, so that people don't have a false image of what they're criticizing when they criticize this stuff. Because like I said, you don't know what you don't know. So this is a video on the north node of the moon and the south node of the moon, and what these entities are. They everything in astrology represents a subpersonality within the human mind, as well as a planetary or astronomical force. These lunar nodes are effectively places on the moon's elliptical orbit that, where I believe it's the closest to Earth. They're called the lunar perigrees, northern and southern. They're always 180 degrees away from each other. They're always opposite each other. And from a psychological perspective, what they correspond to in this theory is the north node corresponds to things that you want but aren't very good at, and the south node corresponds to things that you don't want and are very good at. So depending on the opposition, the 180 degree axis where these things are placed in your chart, you have a proclivity, an obsession, and sort of an inadequacy at one thing, and a masterful embodied detachment of another thing. So this time we're talking about the north node being in Virgo, or alternatively the 6th house, and the south node being in Pisces, or alternatively the 12th house. Now Virgo is a sign of pressure testing. It's criticism, it's which is like ideological pressure testing. It's critical thinking. It's separating wheat from chaff, which is why when you see the Demeter, which is I guess you could call her the patron deity of the sign of Virgo, she's a goddess of harvest. Now, why is this? One, Virgo is related to health. Health is related to, and like specifically diet. Diet is related to separating wheat from chaff, is separating good information from bad information, good food from bad food. It's judgmental. It is intelligence. It is the intelligence applied toward judgment. So this is true of the energy of Virgo, the sign itself, no matter what house it's in. And it's also true of the sixth house, which is the natural Virgo energy, which would be 6 from your ascendant in your chart. So that's what Virgo is. Pisces is the opposite of Virgo. It is undifferentiated chaos. It is mutable water. Pisces is mutable water. Virgo is mutable earth. So earth is rules, material, ground, matter. It's building supplies, architecture. Water is the opposite of structure. It is unjudgmental. It is predatory. It is dangerous. It is chaotic. And it is unconscious. Whereas ground is much more conscious and, well, grounded. Pisces specifically, it is responsible for such things as addictions, spirituality in the absence of religion, so sort of ruleless, sort of Unitarian, universal mentality toward religion, hippies, hallucinogens, things which transcend boundaries. Virgo is mental boundaries. It is earth in general is boundaries. Water is the absence of boundaries, especially Pisces, because Pisces is mutable water, and a mutable sign is always to do with ideas, it's always to do with philosophy, and it's always changing. So that's what those signs and their corresponding houses represent. So when you have Virgo in the North Node in Virgo or in the sixth house, you get what you would expect. You get a person who is obsessive about the rules, who is obsessive about logic, who wants everything to make sense in its proper place. And the South Node in Pisces, by contrast, is a person who is detached from anything which is disorganized. They don't see the value in things which are chaotic or disorganized or disruptive or boundary dissolving. These people might be kind of beauty blind in a sense, while simultaneously they see beauty in organization. Like, if somebody was looking at an abstract painting, somebody with the North Node in Pisces would see this painting as like a beautiful array of colors, or like a kaleidoscope. But somebody with the North Node in Virgo and the South Node in Pisces would see this mess, this beautiful chaotic mess, and they would look for patterns and meaning, literal explicit meaning. And if they couldn't find that literal explicit meaning, then they would write it off as being no, I understand delusion. That's delusion. There's nothing useful in that. I already know that. What I'm looking for is a method to the madness, is ordering chaos, is sacred geometry, is the rules of this universe. So these people, according to Vedic cosmology, which deals with reincarnation, these people were often lost in their prior life. They were confused. They wandered aimlessly. They were very idealistic. They were preaching, a wandering preacher. And now they are being called to organize their sort of loose, disparate mind and bring everything together in a coherent way. So maybe it was like a person like an artist, and they were grappling with this concept that was so far outside of their reality, and they couldn't quite organize it. They couldn't sum up their topic. And what somebody with North Node in Virgo is doing, they already understand being lost. They need to find answers. They're obsessed with the truth. They're obsessed with everything being coherent, logical, reasonable, and they're not willing to be lost anymore. And that is basically the that's like the more mature version of this. Now, if somebody for whatever reason is not very mature or spiritually evolved and they have this placement, what you will see is somebody like Richard Dawkins, or maybe what I imagine Richard Dawkins to be. Let's say somebody who, without using his name, let's say somebody who is very much opposed to anything that they view as delusional or not as well thought out as they are. So you might get, like, let's say Sam Harris is another example. Somebody who, he does meditation, he does psychedelics, but he doesn't believe in free will. He doesn't believe that humans are conscious. He doesn't believe in any of that. And he's very like pro-science, pro-reason, pro-rationality. But I don't think he sees the contradiction. So that is the type of person at a less mature, evolved phase. At a more mature phase, you would see a person who, they embrace both sides. They embrace the spirituality and they embrace the necessity of rules, and they're fixated on organizing spiritual beliefs. So this is a very powerful placement. Virgo is considered the exaltation point of the North Node. But again, these people can be prone to like being very judgmental of others, and like being sort of leading a scientific crusade against religion, that kind of thing. But and also maybe perhaps being OCD, like very organized. They need everything to be in its right place or they get freaked out. So that could be the dark side of this. But yeah, that is the North Node in Virgo, or the 6th house, and South Node in Pisces, or the 12th house. So tune in next time. I'll try to get the next video out much sooner. Thanks for your patience. Till next time.